Welcome back, my duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and time for the segment every week that everybody looks forward to the most. It's time for a speed duel profile. So, I've been asking a little more recently for some challenges, and I got hit with one. And it's actually the second time I've been asked, can you make a speed duel deck using only one box of the Battle City set? Yes, I can. In fact, I did that today. Now, before I get into this, I just want to say, and before you guys see any cards and go, well, I've seen that you use a foil one. Why didn't you put your foil one in here? In order for me to feel like I stayed true to the challenge, not only did I look back up the set, because again, all my stuff is actually in a box. It's all my speed duel cards are actually already sleeved in the same white sleeves. Everything that I have for that is pre-sleeved. So I just dig out, 32 cards every week and show off. So I'm not actually unsleeving, re-sleeving these. I just bought a lot of sleeves. But I wanted to look at the set, make sure that I wasn't pulling a card accidentally. You guys can correct me if I did. But I did use the Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki this time to make sure that I wasn't pulling cards that weren't in the set. And I went all commons because, again, you're not guaranteed to get the foil. Unless, of course, it is one of the 3 Egyptian God cards, because those are guaranteed in each one to be secret rares. And again, I didn't double up, so, there's no double breaker. Even though, obviously, in one of my Battle City boxes, I pulled a secret rare breaker out of the additional secret variants. And again, I felt that would go against the theme of the challenge. So, enough talking about it. Let's put up and shut up. All right, so let's run this deck list. First off, we're going to use a skill. And again, I felt it has to be in the Battle City box. So we went with Joey Wheeler's I'm Just Going to Attack. Now, this is probably one of the easiest skills to use, especially when you only have a single copy of this set. All the rest of them, pretty much, you want to have a minimum of 2 of the boxes in your possession before the skill actually goes live. And then get ready for a lot of singles. So everything's a one of here. So the one Breaker, one Dark Blade, one Grand Mark the Rock Monarch, one Jinzo, one Kaiser Glider, one Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, one La Jin Mystical Genie of the Lamp, one Swarm of Locusts, one Swarm of Scarabs, and to round out my monsters, one Force Raider. Going over to spells, we have, of course, I had to put in Book of Moon. Definitely the one Cosmic Cyclone, the Nobleman of Crossout for sure, Shrink, of course, Silent Doom, and again, this plays a little bit more off me using the normal monsters in the main. Again, we've got the Soul Exchange. Moving over to the traps, we're using Lost Wind. We're actually using Mirror Wall this time. We've got Wabaku and Zero Gravity. The extra deck, and now guys, the extra deck is 100% for show. Just because I made the deck under this circumstance doesn't mean that you guys will be playing people who know that your deck is just made in this circumstance. So again, with Waking the Dragons being very viable, obviously with the Union Machine deck that came essentially prepackaged in here, again, there's a lot of reasons why the extra deck can be scary for an opponent. So again, you just need to grab 6 cards. So I just chose the Chimera, the Paladin, and then I just went with one each of the X, Y, and Z different combinations to round that to the 6. Now for the side deck, the quick 6 is going to be your Night Assailant, your Skellingle, or maybe it's Skellingel. I don't know. Difference in pronunciation in your region, maybe. We do have a single of the Fiend Mega Cyber. Spells is Hammer Shot and Nobleman of Extermination. And of course, we found the room for a Widespread Ruins. So I do think that, at least in a casual sense, and of course, it's kind of right there in the name, I do think that this fits 100% the theme and the spirit of this challenge. And again, as long as you're playing casually, and this is something that you want to use as your start, this gives you an excellent path first. And then, of course, you could always go back through any of the other Battle City videos. We could play the Phantom Beasts fairly well. Pseudo Monarch can be played very well. Obviously, Union Machine can be played very well. There are just a half dozen different really good deck techniques that you can pull out of this as soon as you have more than one box of the Battle City. And that was, I think, one of the biggest redeeming factors of the whole release. Much like the Duel Devastator of a few years ago now. Every time you go to your hobby shop, every time you go to your OTS or your local retailer, you get the entire set. It's not a gamble. It's not opening packs. You're guaranteed. And again, I think that this was great that they did it. Unfortunately, there just doesn't seem to be anything else on the horizon right now. And most of that is going to be due to the pandemic that we are currently in. Obviously, with the OTSs doing mostly streaming tournaments and such, the releases have actually slowed down and been spread out a little further in between. So coverage is going to get a little weird. But if you were just here for the deck list, I really want to thank you guys for stopping by, listening to me. I hope that you guys enjoyed the deck. If you haven't already, consider a subscription. And of course, let your friends know about the channel if they're into the game as well. If you guys have a deck that you'd like to challenge me to maybe make, especially within the speed duel realm, go ahead and do that. I'm always open for it, and believe it or not, it makes making videos way easier when you guys give me some guidelines for what you want to see, and it makes me happy to be able to deliver that. So for those of you that were here just for the list, you guys go out, have a great day, watch another video or 10, or, go do whatever it is that you got to go do. Everybody else, let's really get into the strategy, the meat and potatoes behind this build. And we're going to start with the skill card. Now, again, Joey Wheeler's, I'm just going to attack. It seems pretty shallow at first, but this skill actually does so much for you. First off, it makes you feel like you're really in the anime because, again, I think I did this when I built a deck around the skill the first time. The skill is very, very childish at first, and the first effect being, during the main phase, you can make one monster you control gain 100 attack until the end of this turn. But again, right now, the base power cap for a 4-star is 18, and the only monster that violates this right now, I believe, is just the Vorse Raider, which kind of makes him good. I mean, of course, Breaker sort of violates it, but most of the time we're using Breaker to break it. Of course, there's Charging Gaia, but Charging Gaia was from a structure deck, so we weren't allowed to use him today. But again, it's nice to be able to give just a little power bonus, and sometimes 100 points is all you need. The second effect is really the reason that we're playing this, and that is during the battle phase, when your opponent activates a trap card, you may negate the effect and set that card. And additionally, each of these effects is once per turn, not once per duel, once per turn. Every turn, somebody gets designated and gets a little extra power, and every turn, your opponent can't activate that one that one trap card. So again, if they keep trying to block you with something like Zone of the Spirit, they want to use Windstorm of Atakwa, Wabaku, Zero Gravity, Mirror Wall. They want to use Lost Wind somehow during the battle phase, which would be a little bit weird, but whatever. You would be able to parry these moves, and then with other cards in the deck, actually be able to remove that threat and continue playing through the opponent. So again, I'm just going to attack, kind of a sneak great card for just anybody. And since we're just doing one-ofs for the whole deck, truly powerful. Again, Breaker, 1,600 points. When normal summon, gets a spell counter through his own effect, gains 300 points of attack for each spell counter on it. Can only hold the one, though, so it caps out at 19. And of course, you can remove that spell counter from this card, target one spell trap on the field and destroy it. And like I just got done saying with I'm just going to attack, this is going to allow us to just go ahead, stun the card that they have, and then break it off the field. And then again, we can still stun whatever the next trap is that they go to set. So, good. Dark Blade, normal, 1,800, 4-star. That's really all you need to know. He's here for strength. Grand Mark, again, we can start playing pseudo Monarch decks. Grand Mark is, again, I believe the only Monarch that's in the game currently. But again, we do have Jinzo and Kaiser Glider that are still along the same things. So that's why I'm saying pseudo Monarch for now. And again, when you tribute summon for this card, when this is tribute summoned, target one card that is set on the field, and that could be, again, that battle trap, like the Widespread Ruin or what have you, that you stunned. and then you can go ahead and take that off the field. Or if you used Book of Moon, you could take that off the field. Or they set up a monster in defense mode, and you're just not really feeling like hitting into their Knight Assailant, or their old Vindictive Magician, or you don't want to see Apprentice Magician fetch another monster once you crush it in battle. Grand Marg's got you. So again, very good. Jinzo, of course. Trap cards and their effects on the field cannot be activated, and you also negate the effects of all traps on the field. Super important right now, especially since trap monsters are definitely a thing. And you can actually play trap monsters from this, but with the relevance of Jinzo and the lack of a ban list right now, Jinzo needs to be in your deck and maybe not play as trap heavy. So yeah, just one of him. Of course, Kaiser Glider moving out of my normal placement for him. I'm usually placing him in the sideboard. Again, we have the space today in the main. Cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster that has the same attack stat as it. And of course, when this is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, not just by battle, my friends, just destroyed, target one monster on the field, return that card to the hand. And again, as long as we're targeting something from the extra deck, we really make our opponent have to go through the whole rigmarole of trying to get that monster back to the board. So that's fine. Kaiku, another great 4-star with that 1800 stat. The first effect is better than the second for now. I'm blanking on monsters that actually need cards to be banishing from the discard pile right now. But the first effect, when this card inflicts battle damage to the opponent, you can target up to 2 monsters in their graveyard, banish those targets, and the opponent cannot banish cards from either graveyard. This is amazing because, again, if they can't banish cards from their graveyard, it shuts down some cards, mostly in the main game right now. In GOAT format, that would shut down things like the Chaos Engines. But being able to banish cards stops your opponent from doing Resurrection. Now, again, Call the Haunted, not so much a thing right now. It is a skill card. We can do something against that. But really, like, one of the biggest things that's like just great against is, again, Skull Servants are still semi-playable, guys. And King of the Skull Servants is definitely in the game. And I really don't want to get punched by a zombie. So, Kaiku, just great. Lajin, right around the same lines as Dark Blade, 4-star, 1800. And what's, again, really great right here is I've done the Breaker, I've done the Dark Blade, the Lajin, we just did Kaiku. If you guys were to take this Battle City deck and purchase the Merrick / Bakura structure, then you would also have access to Allure of Darkness, which is also going to up your plays and increase your playability with this deck. And it gives you more, modular capability. And again, same with these next 2 cards, Swarm of Scarabs and Swarm of Locusts. Both of these cards, once per turn, can change their from face up to a face down defense position. And if they are flip summoned, they target a card on the field and destroy that. And it has to be a card that your opponent controls. And the difference is Locust will target spell traps, and Scarabs will target monsters. And with Scarabs and the skill card, I'm just going to attack, we're able to stun our opponent's back row and then use our Locusts to break same back row. And then real quick, again, Vorse Raider, another dark, another great reason to pick up that structure deck, get yourself some Allures of Darkness. And again, we're going to break the cap now. This one's going to be 1900 base stat. So again, a little better than Breaker, but at the same time, not as much. If we were allowed to use multiple copies, I'd probably take out 1 Lajin and 1 Dark Blade and increase these 2 by 1 each, what have you. Again, to the spells, Book of Moon, pretty great. It's going to stop setups. It stops other older kind of weird strategies like Dragon Caller. And again, you can stop things just from attacking you. You can set Jinzo, then use your traps to defend yourself through something like Interconflict plays. Just a great card. Cosmic Cyclone, pay that 1,000, target a spell trap on the field, banish it, and again, since all the trap monsters currently in Speed Duel still count as a trap, we can still target them while they're monsters, believe it or not. So that's good. We do have the Nobleman of Crossout, and again, much like Grand Mark, we're going to be going after monsters with this. We're going to target a face-down monster, destroy it, and then banish it. And then if it was a flip monster, each player will reveal their main deck and banish all cards that share a name with it. And again, I try to stick away from anything that actually says flip. If you go back through here, it's just effect, 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 effect. Even the swarms are, when they're flip summoned, they don't actually have the keyword flip written on them. And just to show what that would look like, if you look at the Knight Assailant Fiend flip effect. So again, they don't have that wording. So again, as long as you hit a flip monster, you're actually not going to be hurting yourself, unless of course you've sided in your Knight Assailant. And it's a great way to wear down a deck and actually attack more copies than just the single that you saw. Shrink, we needed some more battle strategies here. Obviously, since we were limited to single copies of everything, we'll be able to target a monster that's on the field and its original attack becomes halved until the end of the turn. During my own turn, I can drop this from my hand during the battle phase, actually during the damage step. And that's something I'm working on for my How to Play series, is going to be like this whole thing about the battle phase and actually breaking it down, because it's almost got like 5 or 7, somewhere in between there, like smaller stages that even some experienced players may not be 100% well aware of. And again, you know, pushing the boundaries of what you know is actually going to increase your game even at a casual level. And I think that's something that everybody can benefit from. So I'm still working on that. I'm trying to script it out and get a good graphic going and stuff. It's a whole thing. But Shrink is excellent because it's just got so much timing to it. Silent Doom is a great card for this deck because we can target a normal monster in our graveyard, summon it back, and face up defense, and it can't attack. And again, what we're going to be doing is we got like 3 normal monsters, 4 normal monsters in the deck. And what we really want to be able to do is find a way to resurrect them to go into our tribute level monsters to actually start suppressing the opponent's field and go into a control form, even with this highly casual build. So that's going to allow us to sort of, not a semi-extension, but like getting cards on field so we get those tributes. Another way to do it is to use the spell card Soul Exchange. So what this does is we target a monster our opponent controls. This turn, if we tribute summon a monster, we may tribute that monster as if we controlled it. We may not conduct our battle phase the turn we activate this card. And since this is Speed Duel, there is no main phase 2. So that's pretty important to know. This will be your whole turn, is just taking that monster off the field and placing another one. So again, you could set up into Jinzo, Kaiser Glider, Grand Marg would be another good option there because you'd be able to extend with the effect for another takeaway. The traps, Lost Wind, target a face-up special summon monster on the field. Again, with people playing with the extra decks, this is becoming more and more relevant. Negate the effects. Also, its original attack is half. Again, this is going to help us since we do have a higher power cap on most of our monsters. We will be able to almost forcibly take out some of the larger threats in the game. And again, if we do end up hitting with something even like Waking the Dragons, we can do this to the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, strongest card in the game right now. You're talking about something that is 4,500, so that makes it like 2,250, which means any of our tribute monsters can take it. And if we have Shrink, we can go ahead and take it by having it one more time, and just about every monster in our deck beats it at that point. The best part about this is if they special summon one from their extra deck while this is already in the graveyard, you can then set this card and then banish it when it leaves that second time. So you can actually use this card twice. It kind of had to go into the main because of it. Mirror Wall, and again, because of wording, this is actually pretty amazing. This will be a trap version of Shrink, and again, they're probably only going to attack the one time. So what this does is have the attack of your opponent's attacking monsters, and then once per turn during your standby phase, pay 2,000 life points or destroy this card. And unlike the way that they errated Imperial Order, this does not say that this payment is non-optional. Imperial Order, you used to be able to choose when to stop paying and just pop it whenever, but now Imperial Order sort of just drags on whenever you activate it. Mirror Wall does not share or subscribe to that weakness, so we can just use it for the one turn and never pay. So that's pretty awesome. Wabaku is going to help save us a turn just in case we don't set up right. It means that we take no battle damage the turn and monsters cannot be destroyed by battle during the turn. And zero gravity is going to do much the same thing. This allows us to shuffle the battle positions of all face-up monsters on the field. Anything that's in attack goes to defense, and vice versa. Again, you don't need to know any of the extra deck monsters. These 6 were just picked as an entire bluff today. They have no purpose outside of your opponent going, maybe he doesn't just have the one box of Battle City to play with. So let's get off to the the side deck. We do have the Knight Assailant. It is a flip monster. It has the effect, when flipped, target one monster the opponent controls, destroy the target. When this is sent from the hand to the graveyard, target one flip monster in the graveyard, accept this card, return that target to the hand. Somebody tried to tell me that it could return itself. It can't. It can't. And again, since this is like the newest, I believe this is the newest printing of Knight Assailant, that will never be a thing. That said, now, if you had 2 of these, you could, in fact, perpetuate that little loop, sending one to pull back the one that was already in the discard pile, and that could actually be fuel for the X, Y, and Z Union Monster machines. So, kind of cool little side strategy for you guys. Skellingle or Skellingel, you guys correct me. Give me a phonetic pronunciation down in the comments if you wouldn't mind. This guy's amazing. It's just really good. It's just flip, draw 1 card. And again, that's such a rare effect right now in speed duels to be able to draw that even when playing a single in this side, it's good. And when you side, you can side in the Knight Assailant. And again, he is also a flip card, so you can recur him if that becomes a thing. Fiend Mega Cyber. If the opponent controls at least 2 more monsters than you do, you can special summon this from the hand. This will allow you to extend and build board faster. Again, side deck only because, again, as far as normal play, you're probably going to end up tribute summoning him most of the time. So you'd have to be behind. And I didn't want to have him in the main because there were better options. I mean, obviously, Kaiser Glider and Jinzo, they just feel better. They are stronger. Same investment. He's not bad to go into if you need him. Same thing with Hammer Shot. Destroy the 1 attack position monster on the field with the highest attack. My choice if it's tied. So again, if we both have a Blue Eyes White Dragon, I can choose yours instead of mine. Unless, of course, yours is in defense, at which point mine is now the strongest attack in attack mode, and I end up bopping my own dragon to the discard pile. So again, if you do find yourself overpowered, this is a great side-in. It's awesome. Nobleman Extermination. Normally, I have my second Cosmic Cyclone in there. I went with the Nobleman of Extermination because, again, it has to target a face-down spell trap, destroy and again banish it, and then this time if it's a trap card, both players reveal their main deck and banish all copies with the same name. And since we're playing a singleton deck, it's likely if our opponent's playing something a little themed, and we do hit a trap, we might be able to hit like Widespread Ruin again, because again, I'm just going to attack. We'll have stunned that during their battle phase, or during my battle phase. And so we'll be able to go ahead and punish it with the Nobleman Extermination. Be a little more careful with this one, but still pretty good. And then, of course, the Widespread Ruin. And again, it's just another one of those little battle things. Obviously, if you find yourself up against a Dark Jinzo deck, you're going to want to go more towards your spells as opposed to going towards your traps, which is why we have it set up the way that we do. But if you're not playing up against Jinzo, which would be a little bit weird, Widespread Ruin is actually a very good decision. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, destroy the 1 attack position monster they control with the highest attack. And again, my choice if it's tied. So I guess in this case, if you had 2 Blue Eyes and one of them already beat up one of my monsters, the other one's going for the direct, I can destroy the one that's going for the direct attack rather than it destroying the one that already wasted its attack. So that is that. I really do hope that this fits the bill. I'm pretty proud of this. Again, I just wanted to use all commons. I wanted to make sure that 100% nobody was going to say something like, you used the secret rare and I didn't pull a secret rare in my box, so that wasn't fair. even though the secret rares are literally just a toss-up of something that could be in there. Again, I also didn't want to say, like, oh, well, I get to use 2 breakers because I got another breaker in my secret rares. I didn't want to do that either. Before I sign out of this one, I'd like to mention this as well. I am starting to buy some collections. Again, product releases have gotten a little bit slow from Konami, and again, that's mostly due to the pandemic. So if you guys have a small collection, again, preferably I'd like to get things from towards the beginning of the game. Now that I'm doing some of the GOAT format stuff, got in touch with my friend Joe Patton. Seriously, one of the most legit duelists of the GOAT format era, especially in my region. I think we fanboyed about that last time. Peak performance was literally second in our home state of Ohio. And just a fantastic player. Very, very chill person to talk to. I kind of want to try to gather some GOAT format cards. So if you guys have some small collections, some cards that were existing back then, maybe contact me through email. Maybe I'll buy some collections. And then, of course, I'd love to open those on the channel and show off what I was able to obtain and see whether or not we can actually get a full side set of just the GOAT format stuff. So you guys let me know. If you guys got another challenge for me, I'm all ears. I'd love to do it. I got some stuff planned for the rest of this week. I kind of missed it last week, so I'm thinking Thursday, Friday, I'll do the Ice Barrier deck one more time. Duelist just did go up from 1 to 3 with the last ban list. And I'd like to do more casual type control aspect. And at the same time, I'd like to do the combo video to kind of show you guys, because again, some of my videos, they just run longer. And for anybody who just wants to get the combos and get in and get out, you can watch the profile, watch like the first 5 minutes and skip straight to the next video. And I think that's the best way to manage time and be courteous to everybody. So I'd like to thank you guys in advance. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. And seriously, guys, have a great day. I'll see you guys next time.